Stress is that feeling that you get of either excitement or dread when something is about to happen. There's good stress, like eustress if you're on a roller coaster and you're screaming because it's so exciting and there's something happening. But let's say it's that test. Let's say there's that homework assignment that you left at home or forgot to do. Well, that stress is bad stress. That's the angry stress, the fearful stress. But anxiety is a little bit different because anxiety is that feeling of worry that doesn't even need a reason. You can wake up and just feel anxious. You can be in a good mood, bad mood, and all of a sudden anxiety can take over and it doesn't just stop and it has no cause and there's no reason for it. It's just that general pressure that people have, at all ages, again, have started to feel.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Lunchroom, where we discuss topics that help students thrive both inside and outside the classroom. I'm Alicia Weaver.
And I'm Kai Ture. Today we have with us Dr. Griffin. May you please introduce yourself and say what you do for the district?
Of course. I'm Dr. Tori Hornsby Griffin. I'm the prevention liaison for the district. And one of the things that I focus on is creating safe and healthy learning environments for our students to learn in.
Wow. So, today we'll be diving into mindfulness and stress regulation, a topic that's extremely important for students who may be dealing with schoolwork, deadlines, or just normal everyday stressors.
We'll explore simple techniques to help students manage stress, stay focused, and improve overall well-being. So whether you're preparing for a big test, juggling extracurriculars, or sports, this episode is just for you. Let's learn how to pause, breathe. And find calm in the chaos.
So, hi, Dr. Griffin.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent.
So, can we start by just explaining what mindfulness is and how it differs from regular relaxation techniques?
Well, let's start with regular relaxation techniques because they're really designed just to calm your body down so that you can feel better. Mindfulness is a little bit bigger than that because it involves your mind focusing on the moment you're in right now, not focusing on the test you have tomorrow, not focusing on the argument you might have been in last night or yesterday, but focusing on where you are right now as well as calming your body. So you calm your mind and your body at the same time by focusing.
Oh, wow. Your voice is very soothing. I'm relaxed already.
Awesome.
So, why do you think mindfulness has gained popularity recently?
I think a lot more people are realizing that their stress and anxiety have been increasing. It's happening at older ages. It's happening at young ages. Even our 10 and 8-year-olds are finding themselves super duper stressed. So mindfulness is one of the solutions. It's one of the strategies we like everyone to have in place so that they're able to calm themselves, quiet themselves, and focus on what's happening right then.
Now, I noticed you said stress and anxiety. Would you mind saying what the difference is between stress and anxiety?
Absolutely. Stress is that feeling that you get of either excitement or dread when something is about to happen. There's good stress, like eustress if you're on a roller coaster and you're screaming because it's so exciting and there's something happening. But let's say it's that test. Let's say there's that homework assignment that you left at home or forgot to do. Well, that stress is bad stress. That's the angry stress, the fearful stress. But anxiety is a little bit different because anxiety is that feeling of worry that doesn't even need a reason. You can wake up and just feel anxious. You can be in a good mood, bad mood, and all of a sudden anxiety can take over and it doesn't just stop and it has no cause and there's no reason for it. It's just that general pressure that people have, at all ages, again, have started to feel. So stress is focused on an event more so than anxiety. Anxiety is the feeling of worry, upset, fear, doubt, frustration that just stays there, that has to be addressed.
Wow. Thank you so much. So, do you think you can give us some exercises that help students balance stress and practice mindfulness in their day-to-day lives?
Absolutely. The first one I have here looks like a toy. Many children have grown up with these. These are wonderful, fun toys. However, it's actually called a Hoberman sphere. And it does look like a scientific ball, but it's designed to help you focus as a breathing ball. So why don't we take a couple of deep breaths? Because I think if we all start our day, every day, with a couple of good deep breaths. Let's breathe in with this. Together, breathe in. And breathe out slowly. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out slowly. All we did was take 20 seconds to take 2 deep breaths. But those 2 deep breaths slowed the room down. It slowed everything down that was going on. We were able to really focus. And this allows you to think about what your lungs are doing. And it actually controls your heart rate. So just a simple deep breath, maybe 3 before you go to school, or before you walk in the door, once you're about to head into the lunchroom, when you're on your way to the car or the bus after school. If you just take 2 deep breaths, it actually helps calm you and still you and help you focus. Because when you're taking your deep breaths, you're not thinking about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. And I think that's a strategy that we can all use. It doesn't even require that you have a stress breathing ball. You could use your fingers and just breathe in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
Wow, I will definitely be using these.
I already feel a little less stressed. So, in your experience, have you noticed any changes in focus or productivity when practicing mindfulness regularly?
Absolutely. I do this every day. I keep this with me every day because there are so many situations that are coming at us all. And when you know that things are about to become frantic or hectic, it's good to center, sit down and take a deep breath. I like to take a moment to get grounded. And what I do when I get grounded is I think about 5 things that I can see around the room, 4 things that I can hear, which makes me quiet myself, 3 things that I can feel, 2 things that I can taste, and 1 thing that I can smell. If I do that exercise, it takes all of 30 seconds. I'm able to focus again next on what was in front of me that I stopped doing when somebody called or when I saw a text or whenever something interrupted me. Let me get grounded again and focus on what's in front. Makes my life so much better.
Wow. So, how can mindfulness help students cope with the constant academic stresses and pressures that we're under every day?
One of the things that you can do for yourself is just be prepared. That's the first thing you can do to be successful because you know what's coming and you know that there are a lot of distractions. So when you're mindful, you're preparing yourself for what's coming in your day. You know you have to get to school in the morning. So I hate to tell you this, but you're going to have to go to sleep at night. That's a mindful practice because you're giving your body the rest it needs. So by morning, you're ready. You get yourself ready, get yourself to school, and then you're at the school doing your work. Focusing not on your friends, not on what people are telling you, not on what you're assuming people are telling you. Sometimes people aren't even telling you stuff. Whoa. They're not even thinking what you think they're thinking, but you're busy thinking about that instead of what you're focused on. You're supposed to just focus on what you're focusing on. When you do that, I promise you, your mindfulness takes better. When you practice mindfulness as a student, when you focus on you, when you focus on what you have to do, when you focus on how you're feeling, when you notice your body is beginning to show you, either with your shoulders getting tight or your stomach getting uncomfortable, you know, the bubble guts feeling. Sometimes,
I sure do.
You know, it's a sign that you're frantic or you're frustrated or you're scared. And that's a good time to, like I said, sit still for a moment. Even if you're walking, focus your thoughts while you're walking, take your deep breaths while you're walking, and then tell yourself good things. Start your day with these beautiful affirmations that say, today's a really great day. Today's the day I am succeeding in math. Today is the day that my social studies test and I get along. We actually love each other. You know what? I love social studies. Didn't know I loved social studies till today. When you tell yourself positive things, that's a part of you being mindful about what you're doing so that you don't walk in afraid of it. When you tell yourself you hate math, what you're saying to yourself is, I'm not going to do well at this. And you might really be good at it. So tell yourself the positive thing. Tell yourself the thing that you want to be true and spend your time focused on what you're doing and not be as focused on what others are not doing or what they should have done or what you think they're going to do or what they said they're going to do. There's so many distractions. Focus is the key.
Now, that was amazing. And this is all great and great habits to have, but what are some common challenges that students can face when trying to establish a regular mindfulness practice, or how can they overcome these problems?
Well, like you said, it's a habit. And when you form a habit, it's a logical, thought provoking thing that you've chosen to do. So if we just sit here today and say, how about we set up a mindfulness practice and we take a deep breath before we walk into school every day? How about that? You want to do that? Let's do that. So you've just changed your whole mindful life by making a plan to just do something mindful. Just telling yourself that let's say you want to set up every time you see a certain person. That's who you're my deep breath person. Every time you see them, you take a deep breath. And you can pick 5 people. Every time you see the color pink or the color blue, that's my reminder that I need to focus. What am I stressed about? Am I feeling okay? What is my body saying? I'm good. Okay. So you can do check-ins by setting yourself up for success. Every time you see a certain teacher or every time you hear a certain word, that can be your trigger that says, ooh, am I good? I think I am. Oh, I'm not. Let me stop and take a deep breath. Let me not focus on the phone. Let me not focus on other people. Let me focus on me.
Wow, that's extremely helpful. So, as you mentioned earlier, certain signs of stress and anxiety, but when you give us these techniques, how do we notice the signs? What are some of the signs so we can do the techniques and practice them and create a habit?
So some of the signs that you're stressed and you're anxious are in your body. Sometimes you can tell that you're getting a headache. Well, that could be because you're thinking too hard. Sometimes your stress is in your shoulders. And sometimes if you simply drop your shoulders, you'd be amazed that you didn't know you had them up by your ears in the first place. They're actually up too high because you're feeling tense and you're holding too tight. If you have white knuckles because you're holding your hands too tight, that's a sign that you're really dealing with a little bit of stress. And sometimes people have pain in their back. Sometimes it's in their stomach. Sometimes it's in their teeth and they're grinding their teeth. Those are signs that you need to focus on what is happening in your body so that you can use your mind to change what's happening inside.
So, what would you say to prospective students who are skeptical or unsure about the benefits of mindfulness for stress management?
I would say to them, look at your life and look at what you already do to manage stress. Sometimes we don't call it mindfulness at all, but they're still the same techniques. When you've heard, when you're angry, count to 10. Well, what do you think you're doing while you're counting to 10? You're breathing. You don't hold your breath and count. That's not it. You're taking the time to slow down so that you don't react to a situation. I think a lot of our students are reactive. And when one thing goes wrong or when one person says no, all of a sudden they're snapping. So I say, look at your life and what you already do and just do more of those things that work. We don't have to call it mindfulness, but we know it's managing your stress because it keeps you from saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, which is very easy to do. But just holding your tongue can make sure that you get out of that situation successfully instead of ending up in something worse. But it's simply because you thought to yourself, is this going to be a good thing to say right now? Maybe not. Tell you what, I'm going to distract myself with something positive and say, this person doesn't have the power to ruin my day. I have a plan and I'm going to get through the end of my day and it's going to be great because I'm in charge of myself, my words, my mood, and my mouth. And that's what I'm going to do. So no thanks. Next.
Wow. Oh, so in your experience dealing with mindfulness, have you noticed any changes in focus or productivity when practicing mindfulness regularly?
Absolutely. I get stressed too. We all deal with a level of stress, and some stress can be overbearing, and some stress can be kind of small. But for me, when I find myself feeling frantic, when I feel myself feeling afraid, when I feel too many things happening at the same time, I know it's because I'm trying to do too many things and I don't know that I have the resources to accomplish it. So my goal is to sit still, breathe, think, what am I focused on right now and what's most important in this moment? And do I have to react to something that someone else says or does, or can I focus on what I need to say and do right now? And it has given me self-control in times when other situations are totally out of control. Because the one person we have to manage is ourselves. We don't have to manage everybody else. We got to manage that one person in our skin. And that's what I try to do every day.
Wow. So, how does mindfulness practice support mental health? And in what ways can they prevent burnout or academic fatigue?
Oh, good question. I like that one. When it comes to mental fatigue, it's being on all of the time. And when you're mindful, you realize you need to turn yourself off. Sometimes that means shifting into doing something that's creative and fun instead of just working, study, work. Sometimes it means stop for a moment, look at something pretty, take a deep breath, take some water in, do some coloring and doodling. Just shift your mind so that your mind is able to focus on something else before you just do the work. Because when you burn out by doing too much and not taking breaks, not sleeping, not eating, not taking care of yourself, that's when we find ourselves sliding into mental illness and mental health challenges. Sometimes people blow their top. I mean, you've heard that phrase. You've heard people lose it.
Crash out.
It's because they're going too far too fast and they haven't taken time to stop. Even your phone needs to take a break. Your televisions go off at night, I hope. But your cars turn off at night, and we don't keep the car running, get in the garage and leave the car in there running. We turn things off, but we don't know how to do that. And I have to say, in part, it's because we have, at this day and age, too much access to too much information all of the time. DMs can reach you 24/7. You've got to be able to turn things off in your life. Everybody, all ages and stages, because mental health is not just not being mentally ill. There's a lot more to it. But mental health challenges can come to anyone depending on what they're dealing with.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Because, Kai, you're going to college, and I've recently started my application process. And there's so much information coming to me, whether I'm scrolling on TikTok and they're telling me about scholarships or how to get money or talking to advisors and all of this. And I honestly do not know how to shut off my brain and how I can turn my phone off, but my mind is still always going. And I know that a lot of students can relate to that. So is there any help that you can give us, any tips, anything?
Absolutely. That's what mindfulness is. It doesn't mean just emptying your mind and sitting in a room and letting the thoughts bombard you. It means focusing on what you want to focus on. But that's why you need your voice.
So, in a time constraint, when you really feel like you don't have time to breathe, what would you suggest somebody does?
Well, first of all, you're always breathing.
That is true.
Because if you're not, we have an issue. But you are breathing, so you can just control that. But a lot of it is telling yourself the only thing I'm going to do between 4 o'clock and 7:55 is calmly write all of the things I need to write to turn in this scholarship application. It is fun and easy. Notice you have to kind of psych yourself out. And you have the power to do it because everybody else is psyching you out by sending you reels and TikToks and all this carrying on. But you can psych yourself out too and say, all I'm going to do, I'm not answering any phone calls. I'm not talking to people. I might eat, but I am going to happily and enjoyably spend all of my time and attention on this application because I'm getting it in on time. Oh, yes, I am. And then when someone taps you on the shoulder and says to do something, you say, I'll get with you later. No, thank you. Call you back. Not even going to look at the phone. And just do that thing. We've lost focus. Honestly, that's part of why we're so frazzled. Because we're trying to do 25 things at once. We have this misunderstanding that we're supposed to be able to multitask. That's fake. Sorry. That's not real at all. We're not supposed to. What we're doing is splitting 100% of our attention among 10 things. You're giving 10% to everything. Imagine giving 100% of your attention to one thing.
I get my homework done.
Imagine it. Just imagine.
Exactly.
What would we do if we were just focused on this one thing at a time? We'd be amazed at how effective we are at doing the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. But we're told you're supposed to do 10 at a time. So, okay, fine. But if you want to be effective, try one.
Wow. So, speaking of effective,
Yes.
can mindfulness really be effective even if I'm only able to practice it a few minutes a day?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every minute you give to yourself to put yourself in a mindful space allows you the confidence that you can accomplish what you say you want to accomplish. And if you do that just once a day, great. But guess what will happen? You'll find yourself wanting to feel that way again. And then you'll do it again later. And then you might find yourself saying, I think I'll do that one more time. And you'll just find it becoming a habit just by thinking about it. Just by thinking about it, you're making it top of mind and you're making it a choice in your life. So once it's fine, let's all just do it once. Let's all just make sure we're taking a deep breath once a day. We've just changed our lives because we are calmer than we would have been had we not taken any.
So I hear you talking a lot about having a list of affirmations and stuff like that, and it sounds a lot like manifestation. So is manifestation a part of mindfulness?
As a matter of fact, when you want to manifest something, what they say in manifesting is knowing that that's something you can accomplish. When our star athletes want to see themselves win an Olympic gold medal, they see themselves in advance doing that thing. They close their eyes again, they focus, and they see themselves running and jumping as far as they can jump or climbing the highest mountain. And that's how you prepare yourself for what you really ultimately want to be and do. I'm going to go as far as to say sometimes even putting yourself in pictures, sitting there as a graduate from college with A pluses on everything as a picture helps you focus on who you really are, because that's your face, that's your graduation cap, and those are your A pluses. That helps you continue every day to say, what would she do right now in order to be there? She would focus on her education. She would focus on her schooling. She wouldn't be out doing things that are going to interfere with that A plus student mindset.
Wow.
That's how you're manifesting who you really are and what you really plan to be doing. So all of it is a part of creating the life you want, whatever that life is, because where you focus is where you go.
So I've noticed that today we talked a lot about the students, but the teachers are stressed as well. Is there any initiatives or anything that we're doing to help manage stress in teachers?
Absolutely, because we're creating staff wellness rooms for our teachers. Those are places in the school where they have a chance to focus on being mindful, shaking off whatever might have happened. Someone might have kicked them in the shin and they're upset, and that's stressful, of course. Our teachers are very stressed. So they have a place in the school building where they can just look in a reflection mirror, and the affirmations over the mirror tell them, this is a beautiful day. This is almost over. The rest of the day is going to be better than the beginning of the day. You're a great teacher. I'm really glad that you brought me to school. I love my job, even though it's challenging. And though I get kicked in the shin once in a while, I love being able to motivate these young lives and these young minds. And I'm back at it, and I go right back to class. Our teachers are dealing with stress just as much as our students are. So we want to make sure that they are creating safe and healthy classroom environments so that the students can learn there comfortably.
Wow. You have been so incredibly helpful and given me so many tips and, clocked my teeth just a little bit, but I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's been a joy talking with you all.
Yes, thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
Do the outro, guys.
Okay, well, I think that'll wrap up today's episode of The Lunchroom. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to keep the conversation going.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And give us some topics that you want us to discuss in our next episode.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And remember to stay curious, stay connected, and we'll see you next time on
The Lunchroom.
Bye, everyone.